Arriving in Las Vegas in 2025 is like a gamble, especially with your wallet. Because of this, the city once known as the entertainment paradise now resembles a battleground where every visitor unintentionally becomes a gambler. You don't need to sit at a poker table to lose money. Just by walking through the hotel doors, getting a free cocktail, or dragging your suitcase past a row of slot machines, you've entered a game where you're almost certain to lose. Vegas doesn't just live on luck. It thrives on sophisticated tricks hidden in every detail. From ambiguous price lists and hidden resort fees to the way light and music make you forget the concept of time. It's all designed to make you think you're enjoying yourself, when in reality, you're slowly falling into the giant net the city has cast from the beginning. The scary thing is, even experienced travelers find it hard to escape. They came back a second, a third time, and then suddenly realized that what was supposed to be a cheap vacation had actually become twice as expensive. So it's no surprise that many people believe only reckless, or in other words, foolish individuals still think they can win this game. In today's video, we'll explore the secrets of Vegas that have never been revealed, and the traps that are making fewer and fewer tourists dare to set foot in this city. Are you ready to explore? Let's get started right now. 55.1 billion. That's the huge amount of money Las Vegas extracts from tourists' wallets each year. And what's remarkable is that this number doesn't just come from the red and black games in casinos or all-night parties. It also comes from invisible, subtle traps that you only realize until you're completely empty-handed. You might see an unbelievably low listed price, making it seem like you found a rare bargain. But don't celebrate too soon, because that's just the prelude to the enormous price you'll actually have to pay. And the remarkable thing is, even if you're not a regular customer or don't frequent Vegas, the difference in the bill here is still enough for anyone to notice immediately. According to economic experts' analysis, the cost of a vacation in Vegas has increased by 26% compared to pre-pandemic levels. But inflation or tariffs are just a smokescreen to blind you. Behind that curtain lies a deliberate price gouging strategy, a plan designed to squeeze every penny from tourists. Let's imagine, you list a room on the Strip for $150 per night. The number sounds reasonable, but when you check out, the bill in front of you is as long as if you had just bought a used car. The gap between the listed price and the actual amount you have to pay in Vegas is now like a journey full of hidden pitfalls. You start with what seems like a reasonable price, but then there's a series of add-ons: taxes, resort fees, taxes on the resort fees themselves, parking fees, early check-in or late checkout surcharges, and then the itemized food and beverage costs. Ultimately, the actual amount you have to pay bears no resemblance to the initial price. In just a few years, the average room rate has increased by 24%, while occupancy rates have dropped from 95% in 2019 to 85%. A clear paradox is revealed: fewer guests, more empty rooms, yet prices are higher than ever. Familiar landmarks like the Mirage have disappeared, and the Tropicana has been demolished to make way for a new baseball stadium. And rooms that used to be just $100 a night can now go up to $300 every peak weekend. And now, let's delve into the resort fee, a notorious type of charge. You might think that money will bring some special value, but in reality, it only covers a few ordinary services: high-speed Wi-Fi, a few local calls, gym access, a few newspapers, or even the fee for using the window in your room. You didn't hear wrong. Opening a window in Vegas will also cost you $50. Many tourists call this a scam, but in reality, it's a completely legitimate cost, and tourists have no choice but to accept it. Many tourists leave Vegas feeling cheated, as what they see before them and what they actually have to pay are not at all proportionate. And the story doesn't end in the hotel room. Let's try taking a stomach journey in this city. From 2015 to the present, food prices have increased by nearly 49%. If you went back to 1994, the most lavish buffet at Caesar's Palace would only cost 17 tln. Today, the same experience has escalated to $60 to $100 per person. Even in the food courts of luxury resorts, a simple meal can cost $20, $50. Just one bite in Vegas is enough to empty your wallet these days. The tourist complaints quickly spread across social media, turning Vegas into a symbol of rip-offs. The dazzling neon lights that once obscured all shortcomings can no longer hide the wave of anger. And the most concerning thing is, customers aren't just angry, they're choosing to turn away. A Mexican tourist bluntly stated, "I just figured out how to save 100% on my trip to Vegas. I'm going to Europe or Asia. Anywhere is fine, as long as it's not Vegas." Vegas no longer sells dreams or gives away illusions. This city is just reselling disappointments at twice the price visitors used to pay for joy. How much of the bill is actual service, and how much is just a gimmick? Are we paying for the experience, or are we just paying tuition fees due to a lack of transparency? But if you thought hotel and food prices were bad, just wait until you see what's happening on the casino floor, where games are now rigged against you to an unprecedented degree. Fair play only exists when the illusion of impartiality remains. But it seems that in the operating dictionary of Las Vegas today, that concept has been blurred. Vegas built an entire empire on the thrill of seemingly fair bets, small wagers, 3.2 blackjack, and the chance, however slim, for an ordinary person to win big. However, by 2025, that dream had been buried, replaced by rules that many tourists openly called the unlimited greed of corporations. No one expected that after the dinosaurs, the next thing to go extinct would be an iconic game, the $5 blackjack table. Even the 5-an-hour table should be added to the city's Red Book, because it's now as hard to find as the California condor, of which only a few dozen individuals remain in the wild. Traditional 3-2 blackjack is now relegated to the $100 VIP room, locking out regular customers. Replacing it is 6.5 blackjack, where the house edge nearly triples. Roulette also didn't escape the cosmetic surgery. Single zero wheels are nearly extinct. Double zero wheels have become the standard. And now it's the golden age of 000 roulette, where the house edge exceeds 7%, nearly double what it was 10 years ago. With a casino, that's a jackpot. For customers, it's no different than legal pickpocketing under neon lights. But that wasn't the biggest disappointment yet. The visitor experience is no longer a vibrant interaction with friendly dealers, but rather a confrontation with an impersonal technological machine. The dealer is truly replaced by a digital screen behind an employee operating dozens of virtual tables simultaneously. That was probably the end of the feeling of playing with Vegas. Now, they're just sitting in front of algorithms that never blink. The feeling of reading the dealer, considered the soul of a casino, is now only a privilege of the upper class, those with higher spending power. But most come for a short-term experience and are unlikely to ever return. There are no more cherished memories or joys. All that's left after each trip is disappointment and the feeling that the city no longer welcomes me as warmly as it used to. The house can always win. But when fairness and a sense of belonging are traded for profit, it's no different than completely erasing the soul of Vegas. What will a city built on the belief in luck be like when the players themselves believe the odds have been rigged from the start? And if you think casinos are the harshest place, prepare for the next shock. From the very people who made Vegas special, the employees who are gradually being replaced, disappearing into the shadows. There was a time when Las Vegas didn't just sell games of chance, but also the feeling of being cared for. A guest here doesn't just rent a room, they also purchase attentive care. A smile from the front desk, a friendly greeting from the bell desk staff, or just a knowing nod from the concierge when you need a late-night meal. But Vegas in 2025 has changed. Today, many visitors are no longer greeted by people, but by a cold, bright screen or an app available on their phone. According to a 2024 report from the US travel industry, over 60% of large-scale hotels in tourist cities have automated some or all of their front desk services, check-in kiosks, phone-based door locks, and chatbots that respond to guest messages. Las Vegas is no exception to that trend. Some hotel corporations have piloted a digital concierge model, where a software system can handle tens of thousands of interactions each month. Operationally, this is a success. It saves on labor costs, optimizes time, and creates a tireless 24/7 machine. But the human experience, which once made Vegas's hospitality brand, is gradually disappearing. Let's try to imagine a typical customer journey. You arrive at the hotel after a long flight, tired and needing to check in immediately. Instead of meeting a helpful receptionist, you stand in front of a cold kiosk, staring at the screen and hoping the system recognizes the correct booking code. When the room encounters an issue, you message the chatbot and receive a series of canned responses. Want to ask about a good restaurant around the Strip? The application will return 3 general options. There were no sympathetic eyes, no small talk, just lifeless lines of text. Of course, the positive aspects are undeniable. For young, app-savvy travelers, quick and contactless check-in offers convenience. But the question is, what is that convenience exchanged for? As humans are gradually removed from the service landscape, how much of the hospitality that once defined Vegas remains? The problem isn't just with the service, but with the very soul of the city. Once a place where people went to feel special, Vegas is now seeing that specialness fade into screen taps. And if only machines remained, how would Vegas be any different from a giant airport, where people pass through, spend money, and leave without forming any kind of connection? What solutions can salvage this? Some major brands have started experimenting with a human touch as a competitive differentiator. Marriott, for example, in its recent luxury hotel strategy, has emphasized the importance of human service alongside technology, viewing frontline employees as the soul of the experience rather than a cost to be cut. Perhaps Vegas also needs to take a look at itself, because technology can replace many things, but warm hospitality, which used to bring visitors back, cannot. Can a city once famous for its hospitality retain its soul when humans are gradually replaced by soulless machines? For you, what's more important on a trip? Quick convenience or the feeling of being genuinely cared for and welcomed by people? In the old days, Vegas was likened to a giant marketplace of fun, where you could find everything from endless buffets to small afternoon shows costing just a few dozen dollars. Everyone has a part in that feast, regardless of wealth, age, or youth. But entering 2025, that picture has changed. What was once familiar to many generations is now only a memory. According to Travel Weekly, as of May 2025, there will only be 7 buffets operating across the entire Strip, compared to dozens previously. The all-you-can-eat, all-inclusive price buffet model, which was originally a draw for middle-aged and retired groups seeking a warm, affordable experience, has now been replaced by glamorous food halls. The individual food stalls look appealing, but the total bill per person is usually much higher. What was once a shared value has now become a private cost, leading to inflated bills for tourists. Not just in terms of food, Vegas is also changing in entertainment. A decade ago, you could watch an afternoon music show for $0.30. Now, that model has almost disappeared, replaced by mega shows and mega clubs, luxury products for a high-spending audience. Result: the mid-range segment, which is the heart of mass-market Vegas, fell into a void. Of course, modern and super showy food halls still have their own appeal, especially to young travelers. But Vegas used to be defined by choice. There was always something for everyone. When the options disappear, what is left of Vegas besides a veneer of luxury? Some major hotel brands like Hilton have experimented with the value experience model in other cities, combining premium services with more affordable options to avoid losing the middle-aged and retired customer segments. If Vegas wants to keep its soul, perhaps it needs a similar balance. What will become of a city that once prided itself on having something for everyone when it only offers one kind for the few? And when diversity disappears, how much Vegas is left in the very name Las Vegas? There's something few people realize. With Las Vegas, the economic boom and bust cycle is evident in every number, every report, and even in the worried eyes of tourists returning to the city. After a brilliant year in 2024 with record-breaking visitor numbers and revenue, 2025 has begun to show signs of slowing down. According to the Nevada Independent, citing a report from the LVCVA, in the first half of 2025, the number of visitors to the Strip decreased by 7.3% compared to the same period last year, and the average daily rate, ADR, decreased by 5.1%. The number may seem small, but for an economy almost entirely dependent on tourists, just a few percent is enough to create a domino effect. The mechanism is all too familiar. When cities try to squeeze every tourist with resort fees, high room rates, or hidden costs, entertainment spending decreases. When customers spend less money on shows or casinos, the revenue cycle slows down. When non-gaming revenue doesn't make up for it, businesses continue to raise fees to compensate. And from then on, the bridge contracted even further. A vicious cycle: fewer customers, higher expenses, and faster turnover. The challenges come not only from Vegas, but also from external policies. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, has just issued a new regulation called the Junk Fees Rule, which requires total prices to be disclosed up front. In the long run, this could bring transparency and restore trust. But in the short term, it discourages tourists when they see the real cost right on the booking screen, instead of the initial illusion of a low price. Similarly, California's new minimum wage law, which raises fast food workers' pay to $20 per hour starting April 2024, has increased costs for West Coast food chains, an area that is a major point of origin for a large number of visitors to Vegas. When service costs are already high back home, tourists enter Vegas with a completely different price expectation, less willing to spend freely than before. If plotted on a graph, the expected value line for the customer has dipped below Vegas's total cost line. And when these two lines no longer meet, the point of no return will appear. At that time, it wasn't just a low season, but a fundamental shift in how the generation of tourists thought about Vegas. In this picture, the people affected are not only tourists, but also local residents. When the economic flywheel falters, customers decrease, spending drops, and supporting services, from taxis and small restaurants to street performers, are also affected. Vegas may have once been accustomed to the image of an endless money machine, but as the pace slows, the question is, who will pay the price? Nevertheless, there is still a way to slow down this downward spiral. Some major brands, such as Caesars Entertainment, have begun testing more transparent, all-inclusive service packages, reducing surcharges and creating more affordable options for the middle-aged customer group. That could be a necessary step, not chasing short-term profits, but maintaining long-term trust. Who pays the price when Vegas's money machine slows down? The tourists or the residents who live off it? And is there still time to stop this spiral before the whole city is swept away too deeply? It's not the bright neon lights that define Las Vegas, but rather the hidden darkness behind them. In the summer of 2024, the city reached a temperature of 120 degrees, 49 degrees Celsius, a historic record according to the US National Weather Service, NWS. Under that scorching sun, the high-rise hotel still twinkled with light, and the swimming pool still overflowed with music. But just a few blocks away, you'd see a different picture. Makeshift tents nestled under palm trees, where an entire family was trying to survive the day. The number of 7,906 homeless individuals recorded in the 2024 point-in-time count in southern Nevada is a bitter reminder that alongside the glamorous Strip, there is another Vegas, a city of people without homes. They sleep under overpasses, play music on the street for a few coins, or collide right on the pedestrian bridges connecting the resorts. A city once promoted as a symbol of the American dream now reflects the most stark fragments of inequality. Social tension is also evident in the story of order. From January 2023 to November 2024, the government operated a specialized court to handle violations in the resort corridor, an area considered the heart of Vegas tourism. When this court ceased operations, data from Metro Police showed a decrease in some crime groups, but simultaneously sparked intense debate. Was this evidence of stability, or merely a consequence of pushing the problem out of the central area? And more importantly, where is the fairness when the light is protected and the darkness is neglected? The fractures are not only occurring on the streets, but also within the service working class, the very people who were once the foundation of the city of hospitality. When the front desk is replaced by kiosks, dealers by digital machines, and the bell desk is no longer present, local income declines. That socio-economic cycle closed in a cruel way. Fewer customers, less work, reduced income, and ultimately increased social unrest. And in that whirlwind, Vegas gradually lost the very soul that had made its brand. However, there are still glimmers of hope. The Federal Trade Commission's new fee transparency rule, though controversial in the short term, could usher in an era of greater transparency. Additionally, the trend of responsible tourism is increasingly emphasized, prioritizing people-to-people experiences and investing in fairness and sustainability. Some major brands like Hyatt have stated in their 2025 strategy that genuine hospitality will be a core value, something Vegas could learn from if it wants to retain what once made it so appealing. But the question remains open. How long can a city that thrives on hospitality survive if it no longer has guests and is no longer hospitable? And when the last lights go out, who will be left to clean up the remaining darkness? Las Vegas was once called the City of Dreams, of opportunities for a life-changing experience in just one night. But behind today's dazzling light lie layers of darkness, where prices are soaring, services are disappearing, the economic spiral is slowing down, and the people who once defined the identity are being abandoned. The city may still be alive thanks to neon lights, but its soul, woven from justice, hospitality, and trust, is fading day by day. What will a city born to welcome the world be like when the world no longer wants to return? When even the local people themselves feel left behind? If you've ever seen a different side of Vegas or have thoughts about the city's future, please share them in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share the video, and subscribe so we can continue to delve deeper into the untold stories behind the bright lights of America. The content in this video is based on public reports, official statistics, and analytical perspectives, reflecting the current socio-economic landscape in Las Vegas. This is not an absolute statement, nor is it intended to assign responsibility to any individual, organization, or government. The stories, images, and data are selected to provoke reflection and do not represent the entire experience of all visitors or residents. Viewers are encouraged to learn more from various sources for a more comprehensive understanding.